All right, let's talk diet or nutrition. And the reality is you'll speak to 10 different people and you'll get 10 slightly different answers. And when I embarked on this journey in Feb of 2022, being diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, I saw in total 17 medical professionals and wellness experts in the period of a month. That's a lot of people. And whilst there were lots of commonalities, there were also subtle differences in what they recommended in terms of what you eat, what your diet should be. So it was left to me to pretty much amalgamate all that information, extrapolate bits, look for commonalities, and decide what worked for me. Not to say that this is what's going to work for you. All I can say is possibly there's elements that you can pull out. Maybe you want to follow it in its entirety. But hopefully this will give you a little bit of guidance in terms of what I'm doing. So I do believe, without a doubt, and don't let anyone tell you differently, diet is one of the cornerstone pillars of overcoming cancer. So I'm going to tell you what I don't put in my mouth and also let you know of the things I do put in my mouth. Intermittent fasting. It's about 14 hours a day of not eating. Now that sounds extreme, but if you think about it, if you have dinner at about 5 or 6 o'clock at night and you only have breakfast at about 8 the next morning, you've done 14 hours of fasting. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, intermittent fasting has shown to reduce glucose levels, which you want to do because cancer loves glucose. And it also gives your body a chance to do all the other healing bits rather than focusing on digesting the food. Now, having said that, you have to be very careful about your calorie intake because if you have cancer, you'll know that there's rapid weight loss, you lose muscle, you feel lethargic. So it's important not to reduce your calories when you're doing a fasting. So in your window of eating, you have to keep your calories up. But we're talking about good calories here. We're not talking about junk food. So I make sure in the 8-hour window that I eat from kind of 8, 9 in the morning until about 5, 6 in the afternoon, I'm getting my calorie intake to sustain my weight and also try and keep my muscle mass. So let's talk about what I'm cutting out of my diet. And it is going to seem quite extreme because in all reality it is, but you've only got one life. So you've got to do whatever you need to do to make your body as uncomfortable as possible for cancer. You don't want it to thrive inside you. You want it to really struggle and starve. So what am I doing to starve the cancer inside my body? First of all, cancer loves acidity. So you want to make your body as alkaline as possible. I start the day with some warm water and freshly squeezed lemon. And you might be going, but lemon is acidic. Actually, when it goes into your gut, it converts to alkaline. So that's how I start the day. Then I have a big green juice, leafy greens, which also alkalines the body and gives my body nutrition. And there's an earlier video about the green juice that I make. Cancer is like Pac-Man, and it just goes gobble, 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 gobble whenever it comes across sugar. So I'm doing everything in my power not to put sugar in my body. That also means I am not eating any fruit. Now there's many benefits, health benefits to eating fruit, but I've chosen not to eat fruit while undergoing the treatment I'm going through because even the fructose is something which the cancer will go nom 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 nom. That ain't gonna happen inside my body. Cancer also thrives on inflammation inside the body. So you want to try and reduce the inflammation as much as possible. Dairy can sometimes promote any inflammation you have. So I have no dairy. Yep, that means no milk, there's no cheese, there's no yogurt. I didn't say it was going to be easy. Another inflammation-inducing food is wheat or gluten, which means there's no wheat or gluten. I don't eat it. Carbohydrates. Now, depending on who you speak to, they'll either say yes or no. I have chosen to reduce carbohydrates as much as possible in my diet because I don't want my body converting that into energy, which will feed the cancer. So, no simple carbohydrates. No naked carbohydrates. What do I mean by that? If you do have a bit of rice, make sure you're not having rice on its own. Make sure you're having it with a bit of protein, with a good oil as well. And that way your body breaks it down more slowly. But choose your carbohydrates very carefully. I do. Pretty much the only carbohydrates I eat every now and then, a little bit of black rice I'll have with a meal. But generally all the pastas are gone. The rice is gone. I mean, there's no biscuits, there's no fast foods. For myself, I've chosen to go much more plant-based in terms of the protein that I eat. I'll have a bit of organic chicken, maybe once a week. I'll have a little bit of fish, but generally I'll try and get most of my protein from plants. And when it comes to vegetables, and I eat a lot of vegetables, organic if possible, because you don't want anything that's been coated in a pesticide. You don't want anything that's genetically modified. You don't want anything that's been squirted with an antibiotic when it was living and running around before it got fat and juicy. So if you can, go organic. It's not always easy, but that's what I do. As South Africans, we love to braai. I don't do anything that's braaied. And you're going, why? Well, because the moment it's char grilled, it's carcinogenic. And I'm trying to only put the absolute goodness inside my body. Remember, 75% of your immune system stems from your gut health. So you want to give your gut and your immune system as much amazing nutrition as possible. So unfortunately for now, that means for me, there's no braaiing. Let's talk about oil, because your body needs the good oils very much. And what are the good oils? The polyunsaturated and the monounsaturated oils. You don't want to be putting saturated fats or trans fats in your body. And pretty much all takeouts have got saturated fat. It's actually amazing when you start looking at the ingredients and what the composition is. So I tend to use olive oil and avocado oil. Olive oil has got a smoking point. And olive oil is great cold, and you can use it to cook, but ideally they say you shouldn't cook it over a temperature of about 180 degrees Celsius, because at that point, somewhere around there, it reaches a smoking point, and then you start getting carcinogenic stuff coming into it as well. So if you are going to be cooking your food, what I do, I tend to use avocado oil, which has got a much higher smoking point, and I use olive oil when I'm using it as a dressing. Coffee. Wow, my addiction is coffee, and when I started this journey, I went cold turkey and stopped my 7 or 8 cups a day. Besides really making my body very acidic with all that strong black coffee, it just isn't good, they say, when it comes to chemotherapy. But people are starting to change their views on coffee, and my integrative oncologist recommends actually having 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day. But once again, we're talking black coffee, no milk, no sugar. So I've given you some of the things which I don't eat, and I know it seems quite extreme. No dairy, no sugar, no wheat, only organic veg, but I'm making sure that I have all the nutrition. This is so important because I'm getting my calorie intake in. I'm making sure I have enough calories to maintain my mass. I also have a protein shake each and every day. I use a natural whey protein, and I throw in some walnuts and a carrot as well, and I blend it up just to try and keep the calorie intake up. It does seem really extreme what I'm doing, but I've only got one chance. I'm going to give it all I can. So that is what I don't eat, and I've probably left some things out. I'm trying to just remember them as I talk to you. Something else I've just remembered to tell you, and can you spot the continuity error in the video? It suddenly went from daytime to nighttime outside. Microwave ovens. There's always been a debate as to whether microwave ovens are good or bad for you. Some say it zaps the nutrition in the food, it changes the water boiling point, it can change food from more alkaline to acidic. And simply because of the controversy around microwave ovens, I've chosen on my journey in being as healthy as I can not to use a microwave oven. I use the stove all the time. And one more thing, canned foods. When it comes to the delicious beans in the tin and so forth, unfortunately it's so full of preservatives, and I'm trying to keep my body as healthy as possible with raw, organic, natural food. There's absolutely no canned foods whatsoever. So what are some of the things which I do eat? And there's not a definitive list because it's as wide as your imagination can go. Lots of vegetable, lots of fresh, raw, organic vegetables. I do eat, every morning I have avocado, mixed with walnuts and olive oil. And I do have it, I say I don't do carbs, but I do actually have a slice of bread in the morning. But it's not the conventional brown or white bread. It's a gluten-free bread. And I've got to tell you, half the time they say it's gluten-free, there's still gluten in it. But I found a great brand, and they're at most health shops, and they do an amazing bread, which when you toast is delicious, and it's absolutely gluten-free. Lunch is often a salad with a bit of fish, lots of legumes I have now as well, lentils, I have lots of beans, make lots of bean soup. And once again, we're all on our own unique journeys, and I don't profess to have all the knowledge. I'm just doing what I think is right for me. If there's anything you can extract from what I've said, that's wonderful. If you're embarking on a journey yourself and you're overcoming cancer, hopefully this information was valuable. Possibly share it with someone you know who's going through it at the moment. And please subscribe to this video, because I'm going to be doing more of these videos covering different topics, different parts of my journey as I become cured of stage 4 lung cancer.